Hello everyone. In this session we will discuss one more problem on the stiffness matrix method. Uh, Here I have taken a overhanging beam and the problem is stated like this. Analyze the beam shown in figure by stiffness matrix method and draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. So here we have one more thing, that is if the support C, that is this support, if support C sinks by 9 millimeter, so we need to analyze the continuous beam and we need to draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. So whenever we are dealing with the sinking, we need the EI value. So here they have given the EI value. Take EI is equals to 1000 kilonewton meter square, right? So we have to take the EI value as 1000 kilonewton meter square, and we have to analyze the beam and draw the shear force and bending moment diagram. Okay. So let me start with the solution. So as usual, I will be dealing the entire problem stepwise. The first step, it is degree of freedom, or even we call it as DOF. So here we need to deal with DOF, how many degree of freedom we have. Now you can see through the usual inspection we can say at B as it is a hinge, we have 1 degree of freedom here, and at C we have 1 degree of freedom, whereas at D as it is fixed, we do not have any degree of freedom. So it is 1 plus 1 plus 0, that is the degree of freedom is 2, right. So before going to the further calculations, what I will do, I will modify the given problem up to some extent so that it is easier for us to calculate the thing. So what I will do, I will remove this overhanging portion. Okay. So this is BC span which is loaded with UDL, and CD span which is loaded with a concentrated load of magnitude 120 kilonewton. This is 40 kilonewtons per meter. This is B support, C support and D support, right. You can see here, because of this overhanging and the concentrated load, so this is creating an anti-clockwise moment of 40 into 1, that is 40 kilonewton meter about B. So that I will represent here. This is the moment 40 into its perpendicular distance, that is 40 into 1, 40 kilonewton meter. So this is 40 kilonewton meter moment which is developing at B due to the concentrated load of magnitude 40 kilonewton at A. I have taken the same problem, just modified. So instead of dealing with this overhanging portion, what I have done is I have converted that into the an additional moment at B. So this will becomes very easy for us to deal with, right. Okay. Now I have calculated the fixed and degree of freedom as 2. So once we know how many degree of freedom we have, then we need to assign the coordinates. So let us consider the beam again as it is. Okay. So here we are not supposed to show the loads. Okay. So this is B, C and D. Now on this I need to represent the coordinates. Now tell me, where are the coordinates should I consider? So as we have 1 degree of freedom at B, then I need to consider 1 free body coordinate here, and as like I have to consider one more coordinate here, that is a second coordinate. and at D, as it is a fixed support, then I am not supposed to consider any coordinate, right. So now at B I have one coordinate and at C one more coordinate. So with this I can write the displacement matrix. Therefore the displacement matrix D is equals to, so as there are two coordinates, so two displacement d1 and d2. So d1 is theta b and d2 is theta c. So this is the displacement matrix. I hope it is very simple. So the next step is we need to calculate the fixed end moments. The reason why we need to calculate the fixed end moments is we want to have one more matrix, that is force matrix. So to calculate the force matrix we should know the fixed end moments. So let us work out the fixed end moments, that is FEMs. So here you can see for this BC span it is loaded with a UDL, then I can easily calculate EMF BC. But whenever we are calculating the fixed end moments for a problem which is undergone sinking, then we need to consider the effect of sinking also here only. Means while calculating the fixed end moments we need to consider the effect of sinking. So let us see. So for this beam, see if I draw the sinking status, you can see because of the sinking of support C, this is the shape of the beam. So this support it is undergoing and sinking of 9 millimeter, which is equals to 0.009 meter, right. It means the delta BC it is 0.009 meter, as because of the sinking of support C the beam is rotating in the clockwise, so I have taken the delta value as positive, whereas the delta CD it is minus 0.009 meter, as the CD beam it is rotating in the anti-clockwise because of the sinking of support C. So this is a negative sinking and this is positive sinking. Okay. Now due to the external load as UDL, here fixed end moment is WL square by 12. So this is the due to external load minus 6 EI delta by L square. This is due to the sinking effect. So here you can see minus W, here it is 40 kilonewton. So it is 40 into span is 6, so it is 6 square divided by 12 minus of 6 into EI value is 1000 into delta value is 0.009 and the L square is 6, so it is 6 square. This gives me a value of EMF BC as minus 121.5 kilonewton meter. That is the fixed end moment at A, that is at B, MF BC, right. Similarly, I need to work out the other fixed end moments, that is MF CB. So MF CB is equals to, it is plus WL square by 12 minus 6 EI delta by L square, right. So here W is 40 into 6 square divided by 12 minus of 6 into EI value is 1000 into delta is 0.009 divided by 6 square. So thus that is MF CB yields to a value of 118. So plus 118.5, that is 118.5 kilonewton meter as the fixed end moment. Now similarly, I need to work out the fixed end moment for CD span. MF CD is equals to minus WAB square by L square minus 6 EI delta by L square, right. So here minus W is 120 kilonewton, 120 into A is 1 meter, B is 2 meters, so it is 2 square divided by 3 square, minus of 6 into EI is 1000 into delta is 0.0, sorry, here the delta value is minus 0.009 divided by L is 3 square. So this gives me a value of MF CD as minus 47.33, minus 47.33 kilonewton meter, right. In the similar way, we have to calculate one more fixed end moment, that is MF DC. MF DC. So MF DC is equals to, it is minus WA square B by L square, then sorry, it is plus WAB square by L square minus 6 EI delta by L square. So this is 120 into 1 square into 2 divided by 3 square minus of 6 into 1000 into minus 0.009 whole divided by 3 square, which yields to a value of 32.67, 32.67 kilonewton meter. So these are the fixed end moments. So what here we have done is to consider the effect of the overhanging, I have converted the given loading diagram into small changes so that I can consider this overhanging as a couple into the calculation, and the sinking of support I have considered while estimating the fixed end moments only. So this has reduced me to a great extent so that I can go for the further analysis. Okay. So now once we have the fixed end moment, our next duty is to calculate the force matrix. That is, we need to work out what are the force coefficients, that is F1 and F2. So for that I need to go for one more step, that is step number 3, where I will be estimating the member forces. That is F1L. So what is F1L? F1L is the forces at the first coordinate due to the external load. So here our first coordinate is at B. At B we need to work out the fixed end moments due to the external loading. So here at B we have only one member, that is BC. So I have to work out how much is MF BC. So as per our calculation, MF BC is, it is minus 121.5 kilonewton meter. Similarly, I need to calculate F2L. F2L is the net fixed end moment at a second coordinate. So our second coordinate is C. At C we have two members, CB and CD. So it is MF CB plus MF CD. So as per our calculation, MF CB it is 118.5 plus MF CD it is minus 47.33, minus 47.33, which gives me a value of 71.17, 71.17 kilonewton meter. So these are the values of F1L and F2L. Now apart from this, we need to see, is there any internal forces, that is F1I and F2I at first and second coordinate. Now you can see B is our first coordinate, and at first coordinate we have an anticlockwise moment. So that will be act as a F1I. So this is minus 40 kilonewton meter, and F2I, that is at second coordinate we do not have any couple, so F2I will be 0. Now with this I can form the force matrix. Therefore the force matrix F is equals to, it is Fi minus Fl. Okay. So as there are two degree of freedom we have, it will be F1I minus F1L, then F2I minus F2L. So further, if I substitute the values here, F1I it is minus 40, then F2I is 0, minus, F1L as per our calculation it is minus 121, minus of minus it will becomes plus 121.5, then F2L is 71.17. So this yields to a value of 81.5 and minus 71.17. So this is the force matrix. Okay, right. Now moving on to the next, that is I need to work out the stiffness matrix. Okay, that is step number 4. Step 4, stiffness matrix K. Right? Okay. So here to calculate the stiffness matrix, we need to consider two different cases. The case 1, it is inducing a unit displacement at first coordinate and measuring the forces at first and second coordinate, and the case 2, inducing one unit displacement at the second coordinate and measuring the forces at first and second coordinate. So let us consider the cases. Let us say case 1. So in the case 1, what we are doing, we are inducing a unit displacement at first coordinate, okay, and measuring the forces at first and second coordinate. Okay. So what I will do, I will consider the given beam, but the thing is I have to make all the supports fixed. So this is B support, this is C support, and this is D support. So what I have done, whatever may be the actual condition, but I have fixed all the supports. This is to measure the forces developed at different conditions. Now B is our first coordinate. At B, if I induce one unit force, so the beam will undergo a deformation something like this, right? So let us say this rotation theta B, it is 1 unit, whereas theta C is 0 and theta D is also 0. Now because of 1 unit rotation at B, what are the forces developed at first and second coordinate, that is at B and at C, that is K11 and K21 I need to measure, right? So as per our previous classes, the K11 it is equals to 4 EI by L. It is 4 EI by L. Now, the EI value, here they have given some value, but I am not considering the EI value. I will keep EI as constant so that at the end they will get cancelled. So, the L span for BC, it is about 6 meter. So, it is 4 EI by L. L is 6 meter. So, I will get 0.67 EI. Similarly, the K21, it is I am inducing force at B and measuring the force at inducing displacement at B and measuring force at C. It is 2 EI by L. So, it is 2 EI by L is 6. This gives me 0.33 EI. This is something about the first case. Now, similarly, if I consider one more case where I am going to induce the unit displacement at second coordinate and measure the forces at first and second. So, case 2, unit displacement at second coordinate, right. So, here consider the beam as it is with all supports fixed. So, this is B, C and D. Now, here what I need to do, I need to induce one unit displacement at a second coordinate, that is at point C. If I rotate this C point by 1 unit, so the beam will undergo a deformation something like this, okay, where this rotation, that is the theta C, it is about 1 unit, whereas theta B it is 0 and theta D is also 0. Right, because of this unit rotation at C, I need to measure the forces at B as well as at C, that is K12 and K22. So, K12 is equals to, it is 2 EI by L. So, 2 EI, L is 6 meter, so it is 0.33 EI, whereas at C, that is K22, it is 4 EI by L for each span. So, 4 EI by L plus 4 EI by L. So, if I substitute, 4 EI by L is 6 plus 4 EI, L for the second span, it is about 3 meter. So, this gives me 2 EI, it is 2 EI. So, we have got all the 4 coefficients of the stiffness matrix. Now, put all together, I will be having the stiffness matrix. Therefore, stiffness matrix is equals to, therefore, stiffness matrix K is equals to, you can see all the coefficients, they are associated with the EI value. So, I will take EI as common outside, then the values inside, it is 0.67, 0.33, 0.33 and 2. So, this is the stiffness matrix. Okay. So, now we have all the matrices. So, our next duty is to put all together and determine the displacement. So, the step number 5 is to calculate displacement. Okay. So, we know that we know that stiffness equation is, it is a force matrix equals to stiffness matrix into displacement. So as we have already calculated all these things, we can put them together and we can easily work out the displacement. So as per our calculations, the force matrix, it is about force matrix is 81.5 into minus 71.17. This is force matrix, which is equals to EI into stiffness matrix, it is 0.67, 0.33, 0.332 into the displacement matrix theta b into theta c. So from this, either by the matrix operations or by using calculators, we will be able to determine the value of theta b and theta c as 151.75 minus 60.91 radians. So these are the rotations at B and C due to the external loadings and the support conditions. Now we have to use these rotations for the calculations of the end moment. Okay, that we will do in the step number 6. Step number 6, final end moments. Final end moments. To calculate the final end moments, we have to use the slope deflection equations. So we already know what all are the slope deflection equations. So let us use them, starting with MBC. MBC, because BA portion is overhanging. So MBC, it is MFBC plus 2EI by L into 2 theta B plus theta C. So MFBC, as per our calculation, it is minus 121.5 plus 2EI by L is 6 meter into 2 theta B. Theta B, as per our calculation, it is 151.75 divided by EI. So EI get cancels, plus theta C. Theta C, it is minus 60.91 by EI. So from this I will get MBC as 40 kilonewton meter. I think I will get minus 40, not plus 40. I will get minus 40 kilonewton meter. Similarly, if I work out the other values like MCB, I will get MCB as 128.47 kilonewton meter. MCD, I will get it as minus 128.47 kilonewton meter, and MDC, I will get it as a negative value because of the sinking, and there is a variation in the values. So I will get minus 7.93 kilonewton meter. So this variation, actually it's supposed to be a positive value at the end, but we got a negative value. So this is because of the sinking of support C, right. So let us represent all these things into the loading diagram so that we can use this for the further calculation, right. So MFBC, as per our calculation, it is minus 40 kilonewton. So it is 40 kilonewton meter. You can see this also creates anti-clockwise 40 kilonewton, but For balancing, we have to consider it as a plus 40 kilonewton, right? And at the C point, we have 128.47. One is clockwise, another one is anti-clockwise. So here the total it is about 128.47 kilonewton meter. And at D, here also we have got a negative value, that is 7.93 kilonewton meter. So this negative value, it is because of the sinking effect. Anyway, so let me go further. Let us calculate the support reactions and draw the SFD and BMD. So what I will do, because of the unavailability of the space, I will calculate the things and simultaneously draw the things. Let us say this is the datum line for the SFD and this is the datum line for BMD. Okay. Right. To calculate or to draw the SFD and BMD diagram, what we need to do, we need to consider each span separately. But here this AB portion, as it is overhanging, I will consider that also into the calculation. So step number 7, support reactions and maximum bending moment. Okay. So here I will consider AB and BC span together, so it is easier for me to go for the calculation. So this is about 40 kilonewton. So this span is 1 meter. So this is about 6 meter. A point, this is B point, it is C point. BC carries a UDL of magnitude 40 kilonewtons per meter. Apart from this, they carries these moments, they are equal and opposite. I will ignore them because they will have the zero effect. So here if we have a moment of 128.47 kilonewton meter. So let us say this is RB, this is RCB. Okay. Right. Now to calculate these values, what I will do, I will take moment about C and equate it to 0 by assuming clockwise forces or moments as positive. So here you can see this 40 kilonewton, it creates an anti-clockwise moment. So it is minus 40 with respect to C, it is about 7 meter. Minus this UDL also creates an anti-clockwise moment. So it is minus 40 into 6 into acting at a distance of 6 by 2. Then this RB, it creates an clockwise moment. So it is plus RB into its perpendicular distance is 6. Then apart from that, we have an anti-clockwise moment of minus 120, a clockwise moment of minus 128.47, which is equals to 0. Right. Now from this we will get RB as 145.25 kilonewton acting vertically upwards, right? And if I impose the other equilibrium condition, that is f of y is equals to 0, then these two forces are acting vertically downwards. RB plus RCB, they are acting vertically upwards, minus of 40 minus of 40 into 6 equals to 0. So we have the RB value. So RCB I will get it as 134.75 kilonewtons. So it is also a positive value, so it is vertically up. Here to calculate the maximum bending moment values, we need to draw the shear force diagram. So this is 40 kilonewton acting vertically downwards. As there is no load, I have to maintain the constant, and RB it is 145. So 40 minus 145, it is about 105.25. So from here we have a linearly varying load, and this is somewhere about 134.75. So now we have to work out this point where we have the shear force as 0, where we can say that the bending moment is maximum. So let us say this is x. So if I use this symmetric triangle, so it is x by 105.25, which is equals to 130, this is about 6 minus x. So it is 6 minus x by 134.75. So here x it yields to about 2.63. So this is 2.63, and this is 6 minus 2.63, it is about 3.37. Right, now at this location, let us say it is point E. So at E we have to calculate the bending moment. So to calculate bending moment at E, I am considering the right portion. So on the right side we have this RCB, which is creating an anticlockwise moment. So right side anticlockwise is positive. It is 134.75 into 3.37 minus this UDL is creating clockwise. So right side clockwise is negative. So it is 40 into 3.37 acting at a distance of 3.37 by 2 minus this moment, it is about 128.47, which yields to ME as 98.5 kilonewton meter. Right. So using this, I will draw the shear force and bending moment diagram again. So I am just redraw here SFD. Okay. So this is about 40. This is 105.25, and this is about 134.75. And the bending moment diagram, here it is 0, and here we have a negative bending moment of 40, and here also we have the negative bending moment of minus 128 somewhere here. Okay, because of concentrated load the variation is linear, but here where we have the 0 shear force, at this location the bending moment is maximum, and it is about 98.5. So I will show that here, 98.5. Because of the UDL, the variation will be parabolic in the nature. Now similarly, I need to repeat it for the next span, that is for span CD. Okay. So let us repeat it. So if I repeat it for the span CD, let me consider this span CD. This is span CD, where we have a concentrated load of magnitude 120 kilonewton, which is at a distance of 1 meter and 2 meter. let us say this is RCD and this is RD. So here we have two moments, one is 128.47 kilonewton meter, so another one is about 7.93 kilonewton, right. So if I impose the equilibrium conditions, algebraic sum of moments about C, equating it to 0, considering clockwise as positive, I will get 120 into 1 minus of 128.47 minus of 7.93 minus of RD into 3 equals to 0. So here I will get the RD value as negative minus 5.46 kilonewton. It means it is acting vertically downwards, right. And if I impose the another equilibrium condition f of y, see RC is acting vertically upward and RD is acting vertically downwards. So it is RCD plus RD minus of 120 equals to 0. We will get RCD as minus 125.46 kilonewtons, acting vertically upwards, right. So here we don't get a maximum positive bending moment, we will get the negative bending moment only. See here, the RCD, it is 125. So here if I take this to vertically up to a value of 125.45, then from here to here we don't have any load, so maintain constant. But here we have a downward load of minus 120, then from here to here we don't have any load. Here at D we have a negative load minus, so I have to go down. So this is 5.46. You can see we don't have the shear force diagram is not crossing the datum line. It means we cannot expect the positive bending moment. So with that, if I draw the bending moment diagram, you can see here for this series span, this is left and this is right. So left side we have an anticlockwise moment, that is negative. Right side we have a anticlockwise moment. So right side anticlockwise is, if I calculate the bending moment at this point, let us say it is F. So moment about F by considering the right portion, RCD it is about 125.46 into 1, then we have minus 128.47. This is about minus 3.01 kilonewton meter, a negative value only. It means here it is negative. So the variation will be something like this, right. So it is a little bit a different variation because of the sinking. So hatch this. Right. So this is how we need to consider the effect of overhanging and also the effect of sinking into the stiffness matrix method. Okay, right. Thank you.